At this point, we want to run our Java application with the Gradle. Let's go back to the build.gradle. And at the beginning, we use the Java plugin, which we've seen it has a bunch of tasks, but it does not have a run task with it. We are going to use a different variation of the Java plugin, which is the application plugin, which allows us to run the application. In short, application plugin implicitly applies the Java plugin and the distribution plugin. So let's change the Java plugin to application plugin. Ctrl L to clean the terminal, and I'll do again Gradle build. Build successful using the application plugin. Now let's find what tasks we have with the application plugin. Gradle tasks. We do have a distribution task that came from the distribution plugin. As I mentioned, the application plugin includes both the Java plugin and the distribution plugin. And here we see the run task, which allows us to run this Java program. I'll type Gradle run. An error happened here. And the reason for that, Gradle doesn't know where is my main class. And again, because this is a Java program that we have added Gradle to it, we have to set some configuration manually, like we've done for the source set. And now we need to tell Gradle where to find the main class. The main class is in our source folder under com.coin.price.checker package. I'll type mainClassName, which is com.coin.price.checker.coinPrice. And now let's execute Gradle run. And it ran successfully. We can see the message getting printed from the main program. It's important to talk a little about the Gradle properties. So when we've added mainClassName equal the class path, we've set one property of Gradle properties. And if you want to know really what are these properties, just type Gradle properties. And this is going to list all the properties we're using. For example, this is where is my project directory. And this is the main class name that we have in our Gradle file. There are plenty of properties you can use to do some unique configuration in your project. For example, the source compatibility version is Java 8, which is the default value of the current JVM in use on my machine. However, if you have multiple versions of Java on your machine and you want to compile the Java sources with a specific version, you need to set the version for the source compatibility property. Another property that we can explore is the version property. Currently, it's unspecified. Let's set the version property together. So I'm going to do version equal 1. And let's go back to the build output directory. And let's look at the libs here. The jar file name is the same as the project name, but after adding the version, let's build and see. Now let's click on the libs folder. And you can see here we have version 1. Ctrl L to clean the terminal. In Gradle, you can stop some task execution. For example, if you want to build your project without running the test, you can do -x test in our case here, we don't yet have a test folder. So I want to stop another task from being executed, which is the jar task that's responsible of creating these two jar files here. So let's first delete the build folder. And I'm going to run this project one more time with the Gradle build -I, which is -info. And by the way, you can use a shortcut with the Gradle, so you don't really have to type the full command name. You can just do the first letter, like Gradle b-I, which is mean Gradle build info. Now let's see our build folder, and under the libs, the jar file here got created. Now I'm gonna delete the build folder again and run the same command without the jar task execution. -X to exclude a task, and the task name is jar. So let's build this and run it. Now let's go and find the build folder, and there is no lib directory. You might have already seen that I use the -info with the Gradle build command because I want to see the task execution. I have copied from the terminal the two output we got. The first one is when we ran the command with Gradle build -info without exclusion for the jar task. And the second one is when we ran the Gradle build command with the -x jar, which exclude the jar task execution. We see the jar task got executed when we ran the first command, and we don't see that being executed when we ran with the jar exclusion.